seats. We're going to start at 6 o'clock. Okay, we're going to get started. I think we need to start tonight with a word of prayer. I'd like to get Frank Coacher to go ahead and start our prayer this afternoon.
Will you bow with me, please? Former preacher, I don't need a microphone. I got a big mouth. If you'd like to stay, if you don't feel comfortable standing, if you've got weak knees or whatever, you can stay seated. Let's pray, please. Almighty God, our Creator and the ruler of all that there is, we are grateful, Father, that you have been kind enough to bless us with life and the health to gather here this evening. And that beyond that, we have the good fortune to be born in the United States. For there are all many countries that we could have been born into that are far worse than this in terms of poverty, hardship, and lack of freedom and liberties that we enjoy here. And for that, we are thankful. But we realize, Father, that those things that we enjoy and for which we're grateful to be American citizens are under attack. And they're being stripped from us. And we realize, Father, that perhaps it might be because we are not the people you would have us to be. As it was written by one who observed our country 150 years ago, America is great because she is good. But when she ceases to be good, she will cease to be great. And therefore, as the prophet Jeremiah about Israel confessed so many centuries ago, we confess also that we are not the nation under God as we should be. And we have drifted from your principles, and we ask for your forgiveness, and we ask for your grace and patience, and to use us to help guide this nation back into the track that it was once founded upon, that we might once again be that great nation, that light shining on the hill for all the other nations to admire and strive to emulate. Use us in your service. Send us leaders, Father, who not only respect our Constitution, but respect above all you and your principles of righteousness, that we might be, again, the people that we should be. This is our prayer in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. If you'll stay standing, please, for the pledge of allegiance to the American flag. Bill, if you would.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. It's a good crowd. We've got a great program tonight. And I'd like to recognize, if you're a first-time person, if you will, just kind of raise your hand. That way we can see you tonight. It's an honor to have you all. If you are a first-time person, can you kind of share with us how you heard about the Ellis County Tea Party? Is there anybody here that picked us up on the internet with our website? Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. The newspaper, the local newspaper. Anybody there? Okay. How about a friend? Did anybody, as a friend, told you that good to pass that word on? And we have special event days. You know, we just had one in Ovilla and Red Oak. We had a booth there as an Ellis County Tea Party. Did you come by and visit that booth? Is this where you heard about us in our program here? Anybody? Okay, I know we reached a lot of people, and we're looking forward to success in this. I'd like to also introduce to the back of the room Sarah Nugent. Did I pronounce that correctly, Sarah? Okay. I met her at the Central Texas Republican Party conference a few months ago now, or a few weeks ago, in fact, down in Waco. Anyway, you were there, and then I saw you last Monday night over at the Elks Lodge. You were there. She has the red Texas t-shirt. It says, let's keep a Texas red. for sure, we don't want blue. So she's here to support that, and if you could, if you feel you'd like to, we'd like you to support her also. The next person I'd like to talk about is Kay Dunn. She and her group, Kay, stand up please. Kay, every month, this girl right here puts it on the line. She brings the drinks and the food, and she has others that also help her. Would you like to say anything, Kay?
Well, just real quick, this month I didn't bring anything because somebody else stepped up to the plate.
Okay.
But we would like to have some more people who are interested. You know, there are a few of us who've, you know, carried the responsibility, and sometimes, you know, people are out of town and whatnot, and we kind of like to maybe, you know, split it up so that it's maybe a little bit less, you know, each time around, and maybe give some people, you know, some months off. But I don't bring the drinks, and I never have, but I like to bring the edibles. So,
Let's get
anyway.
a big round. Someone else that does a tremendous job is Henry Hefner. He does our film work. They're on YouTube and, of course, on our website, the Ellis County Tea Party.org. He'll have that on there. This tonight will be on that website if you'd like to review what was said tonight with our three guest speakers. Also, in order to, this is kind of like church also, we got our bills to pay, so to say. When we have a room like this, it costs a couple of dollars. So if you have a couple, $2 or $3 that you'd like to donate, we're going to pass the hat around. Don't make change now. I've done that before and got caught. My wife really chewed me out. So if we can pass that hat around, and if you will donate, we'd sure appreciate your consideration on that.
We can make this side of the room a little better than the east side of the room. Or bragging rights. You give it all. Right.
Also tonight, we got three guests here that I'll introduce here shortly. We're going to have questions and answers, and we feel that writing a question on the card is much better than just standing up, because some people don't like to stand up, you know. Some people like to stand up for 30 minutes. So we're going to do this on a card, and Marty's going to pass these cards out. If you feel like you'd like to write down a question for our three guests tonight, at the end, we're going to, I and Marty will read these questions aloud, and then we'll have the three guests answer these questions. Also, there are a group of ladies back there. If you ladies will stand, you're with the, please, ladies. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know I was going to do this. So anyway, these ladies are going to be here from the Waxahachie School District and also the Red Oak School District. And if our two superintendents don't or can't answer a question, then we're gonna count on these smarter ladies to answer the questions. Is that fair? Okay. Ladies, thank you all for standing. Okay, Keith, where are you at? I guess he's left. We'll do the treasurer later. He's not going to do it? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, it's time to enter. Keith, you want to do that? I saw you walk in. What's that? The financial report? No, we're going to bypass? Okay. I'll just keep it in my pocket. Tonight, we have two superintendents, to speak to us about the new year and also kind of highlight on C-Scope, things that are affecting our community. Some people have questions about C-Scope, and what we wanted to do is dedicate tonight as a night of education. We have children, we have grandchildren, and this gives us an opportunity to set the record straight. And I went to the two superintendents. First, we have Dr. Scott Niven. He's the superintendent of Red Oak School District. He has a bachelor's degree at the University of Arkansas. I think that's in far north Texas. He has a master's and a doctorate at Texas A&M Commerce, Texas. Let's have a big round of applause for Dr. Nick. Secondly, we have David S. Truitt. He's the superintendent of Waxahachie Independent School District. He has a bachelor's degree at Baylor. He has a master's at Houston Baptist University, and Mr. Truitt is currently finishing up his doctorate with the Texas A&M University College Station. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this program over to them. They have a PowerPoint presentation for all of us, so I'm going to turn this over to both these boys, okay? Let's welcome them.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. We're just going to take a moment to get set up here. And I promise it's not death by PowerPoint. We just wanted to have a few things to say about the start to our school years. And Scott and I kind of... Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to go. Okay, waking up. Dr. Nevin and I got together since we're neighboring districts, and Scott's been a really good friend of mine over these last couple of months since I assumed the new role with Waxahachie ISD. And I just really appreciated him working with me on tonight's show for you guys. And we thought we'd start with some info about Waxahachie ISD, and then we'll shift to Scott and Red Oak, and then we jointly have come up with a few slides to share information about where we are with our guaranteed viable curriculums in our respective school districts. But I can't start without thanking Mr. Dixon for calling me and asking me to come tonight. If you don't know me, first, please call me David, but also I want you to know that anytime, anywhere, we'll come and share and talk about anything going on in our school district. I know Scott feels the exact same way. So we want nothing more than to share the great things and how hard our kids are working and how hard our teachers are working with the community that we live in. So I really appreciate the invitation, Mr. Dixon. The only requirement I had is if we were going to come and speak, it couldn't be during a Baylor home football game. So luckily tonight they're playing on the road in Manhattan, Kansas, and they won, by the way. So I could be here. So that's right, Sick and Bears. This is a great crowd, and I'm glad that you're here so we can talk about some important things going on in education. As you know, we just had the 83rd legislature in Austin, and a lot of new things came out that Morris asked us to speak about tonight. We're really going to only focus on 3 House bills because we could stay tonight and really share hours worth of information, but we wanted to share 3 in particular that also had to do with C-Scope and our guaranteed viable curriculum, but also House Bill 5 in particular that's really changing the face of graduation requirements in the state of Texas. But to start with, we thought we'd share a little bit again about our school district. So I just wanted to share briefly, so you know how WISD is growing, and you can see up here on the slides that we're 196 square miles, and we have 13 campuses, 7 which are elementary schools, 2 junior highs, and we actually have 3 high schools in Waxahachie, if you didn't know. We have our traditional Waxahachie High School. We also have an early college high school located in the original high school called Global High School. And then we have a credit recovery high school called the High School of Choice. We have 7,786 students as of Friday, which makes us the largest school district by a few students over Midlothian and Ellis County. We have 1,075 awesome staff members that will do anything for your kids or the kids of this county. We have 100% NCLB highly qualified teacher rate for our school district. We're proud to say that we do our best to find the finest staff to work with our kids. We have 7 incredible school board members that give us loads and loads and loads of time and do it out of an act of love and service for our kids and staff and community. And lastly, I went ahead and listed up there that we have 4 district improvement goals that we're working on this school year. And I just wanted to share them briefly. It could be a presentation in its own. But I wanted you to know what was our core work that we've been working on since last May with the new year and all the changes in Austin. And the first one, and foremost, I'm going to list it first every time, is the safety and security of our kids. And then number 2, we're making sure that all of our kids are career ready. And I don't just mean college ready. You hear that a lot. You know, are our kids going to 2- and 4-year schools? I really mean we're asking the question starting at a very young age. Kids at Waxahachie ISD, what do you want to be after and be after high school? And that's a question we have to be working every single minute of every day on making sure that they have the information and skills for the day after graduation. And so that's our second goal, is what do they want to do with their lives, and what are we doing to ensure that they're meeting those goals? We're also looking at intervention in the classroom as our third goal. We want to make sure our teachers are ready and have the resources and training and skills to meet the needs of the kids at the most immediate point, which is when the teachers are with the kids, wherever they are in the lessons on every day of the school year. And our last goal for the year is parent engagement. And I didn't say parent involvement because there's a difference. Parent involvement might mean going to a PTO event or going to a math night. We're talking about true engagement, because we believe firmly that if they're engaged in the lives of their kids, that student achievement will only go up. And that we know if they know every bit that's going on in the classroom and we're transparent and upfront inviting them in our schools, that it's going to make our district even stronger. All right, second slide. I went ahead and listed some points of pride. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that we accomplished at the end of last school year and where we're heading now. I just want to let you know that with the new state standards for accountability, that all of our campuses in our district met standard, which is in the new rating system labels for campuses in a district. Also, we had 5 campuses earn the new multiple academic distinctions, including 2 campuses that earned 3 distinctions each, which, if you look at the percentages, that was only accomplished by 8% of the schools in the state of Texas. We also had 3 schools earn 2 distinctions. Over the last 2 years, we've had 8 National Merit Commended Scholars and 1 National Merit Scholar. We instituted a new program this year called the Teen School Board, where we have 10 representatives from our secondary schools, where students meet with me each month, and we go to their schools and we talk about issues in our district that they'd like to tackle. So we run it like a real adult school board meeting, and we have agendas, and they help us set goals, and we're working on things that they feel are relevant to their lives. It's an incredible thing to see, because who knows best on how we're doing as far as education and the kids in our schools. We have a T-STEM early college high school, which was rated one of the top 3 in the state last year. And we even have a new partnership on the next line that you can see with UT Tyler. At our early college high school, any student that attends can earn free dual credit through Navarro. It's tuition free. And last year, you can see on that last line, 58 of the 99 students earned their associate's degree. And we're on track this year to have an even higher rate. The UT Tyler partnership is one of the first in the state. We are the first high school. There's 3 others just like us that have started the program, but we're the first one that will have graduating seniors that will be earning credit from a 4-year university in the state of Texas. Right now at Global High, our students are UT Tyler students all the way down to the freshmen, and they're able to earn credits in technology, science, math, and science. Got off on the courses there. Science, technology, math, and engineering. Had to think about the 4th strand. Where they're receiving credit for UT Tyler and not Navarro. It's transferable to all Texas universities, which was our goal. Also, we are one of the only high schools in the area that offers all 16 career and technical pathways through our career and technical department. We have many students from other districts that come to us for these services. Next slide. Just wanted to share with you briefly some of our accolades from our last graduating class last May when we walked the stage at Lumpkin Stadium. You can see it's kind of a top 10 list like you might see on the old David Letterman show. And you can see that first off that more than 50% of our students are enrolled in extracurricular activities in our graduating class. We had more than 34,000 hours of community service with our seniors. We had more than 100 district, area, regional, and state championships in fine arts, academics, and athletics. We had 2 state leadership positions that were held by our students for the Texas Technical Students Association. And again, there's the information about our national merits from last year. We had more than 85% of our students follow the recommended or distinguished achievement graduation plans. We had a 99% high school graduation rate, and I can tell you it was actually 1 student, so it's higher than actually 99. We had more than 90% of students planning to attend a 4 or 2-year university. We had more than 4,000 college credit hours earned by our senior class, and our senior class had more than $3.2 million in scholarship offers. And that was a number we just had to cut off on the last day of school, but we know it grew over the summer. The last slide before I turn it over to Dr. Nevin just shares comes a few of our academic and community honors that I wanted to talk about that we've been working on just since school started. First off, you can see, and I listed this one first by choice, that we worked hard over the summer to secure our campus entrances and add layers and new doors and walls and counter systems and raptor systems in our schools to ensure that our guests, when they come in, are funneled to our office area to ensure our teachers and students and parents are safe. Also up there you can see we expanded our college and career readiness services. For the first time ever in the history of our school district, we were offering advanced placement and dual credit college courses at the 9th grade level at Waxahachie High School and Global High. And the courses we're offering at the 9th grade at Waxahachie High are actually tuition-free through Navarro College, where the school district pays for those courses. You can also, with that, we've added enough AP and dual credit new courses to our master schedule where we had 273 more students sign up for college and career courses this year. Based on a parental survey we did last May, we found out from our community that they'd like for us to offer in the evening time classes on student discipline and parent skills at home, and so we contracted with a national group called Love and Logic and are offering it in bilingual and English to our community, and we're doing that 4 times each semester. Also, based on survey data, we've added a new culinary arts program and criminal justice programs at our high school, and we just found out this week that the Waxahachie High School Band was named the top 10 band in the nation by the Foundation for Music Education right here in Waxahachie. And as many of you already know, they were already the 4A state honor band for 2011 through 13, so we're super proud of our fine arts programs. We had 65,000 community volunteer hours through May 31st, and based on that number, we had 4,116 volunteers in our schools. So we're doing everything we can to get our parents and community members engaged in our classrooms and campuses. And that last bullet point was our latest initiative that we're calling iNation, which is based on mobile technology in our classrooms. We retrofitted all of our schools and made sure that every classroom had the latest technology to ensure student engagement and student readiness for the 21st century. And our teachers are receiving training at all times, and we're doing our best to ensure that they know how to use an iPad, an interactive projector, student devices. We're going bring your own device at our high school and soon at our junior high. And we're making sure that our students and our teachers are ready for those initiatives. I know that was quick, but I wanted to share some of the great things that are happening in our school district. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Nevin, who's going to share some of the same things and similar initiatives that are going on in Red Oak. Take it away, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you. It's okay, I'm more comfortable with being out here, not behind the microphone, behind the podium. You know, as we get started and talk about this, I think it's very important that people here understand the kind of people that are running your school districts and who they really are. Because you hear all these things and some of them may be good, some may be bad, but it's important that you know the kind of people that we are running your school districts. This is my 7th year here at Red Oak ISD. I attend Farley Street Baptist Church here in Waxahachie. I have 3 children. I've been married to Christy, my wife, for 23 years. And 2 of my children are in college, and 1 is in 2nd grade. So, yes, it was a little bit of a surprise. Nothing like a 40th birthday surprise. So, I can go as a parent and a grandparent. Anyway, that's, our job in the school district is trying to do the right thing for our kids in the community and move them forward and prepare them for whatever they have beyond Red Oak ISD, Waxahachie ISD, and all the rest of the schools in Ellis County. That's our job. And if our kids aren't prepared when they graduate from our district, then we haven't done our job. One thing that may be of interest to you is I'm kind of a non-traditional superintendent in the way that I came up through the ranks. I'm actually, my degree from University of Arkansas is a business degree, and I'm a certified public accountant. So I actually was in public accounting for 6 years before I went into the school business. And I've been in the school business for 18 years. So anyway, a little different, but I just wanted to give you a little background on this. And the thing I also want you to know is we're always available. If there's questions or issues, I appreciate us being invited here to answer some of the questions. And I know you're going to hear 2 different viewpoints on a lot of things tonight, but I just appreciate the opportunity to give you our viewpoint and then give you the information to make your own decisions. And I appreciate that. So with that said, let me tell you a little bit about Red Oak ISD. We just celebrated our 100th birthday this last year. We serve 5 municipalities. We serve Red Oak, Glen Heights, Oak Leaf, and Ovilla. That's Pecan Hill. I'm not sure where Maypro jumped in there. We don't serve Maypro. Current student enrollment exceeds 5,600. We hire 100%, no child left behind, and highly qualified teachers. We've been recognized nationally and regionally for academics, fine arts, and athletics. And we have invested heavily in school security with everything going on in our nation today. I want to tell you a little bit about school safety. Every school district, depending on what issues they may have or concerns, they choose to deal with the safety of our students in different ways. In Red Oak ISD's situation, what we did is we had a police department and we added to it so that we have a police officer on every campus, full-time police officer that works on every campus every day. Our goal is to make sure that our kids are taken care of, that they are safe and secure when they come to school, and as long as they're in our care, that they are taken care of. You know, you've seen all the active shooter scenarios, and we train and we do a lot for that, a lot behind the scenes. And here's the thing that you have to realize. In a situation like that, where someone obviously is out of their mind, were to come into school with a gun, there's 2 things that a school district has to do. 1, they have to get their kids to a secure location. And 2, we have to eliminate the threat. In Red Oak ISD, we're prepared to do both. And that sounds a little blunt, but we are prepared, and we're willing to do whatever is necessary to take care of our kids in Red Oak ISD. I know there's some staff members here tonight, and I think they would attest to the drills and everything that we have in our school district. The interesting part of all this, with an officer on each campus, they've also really become a part of the student life on the campus and gotten to know the officers, and they work with them on character education, drug-free schools, and things that are needed to make sure they have that good building blocks and good foundation in life. And it's very important. I want to tell you about Red Oak ISD's partnership. Here's the goal. When a kid graduates from Red Oak ISD, they need to be prepared for life. Now, we all have different lives, and I think if many of us stood up here, we'd have different backgrounds, and we all came up different. Some of us went to college, some of us went to the military, some went directly to the workforce, and then some went to technical or trade school. Well, that's still the case today. And so we've got to be prepared for whatever this child may choose. My goal is to make sure when they leave Red Oak ISD, they have options. So in doing that, what we've done is we have college partnerships. We currently have a college partnership with Navarro. Our kids can get dual credit in high school. They also can go on beyond Navarro into the 4-year institutions. One of the partnerships that we're working to develop with Navarro is that the courses that you take in high school transfer to the University of Texas Arlington. So our goal is, if you were to get an associate's degree, even while you're still in high school, that they would actually graduate, or that they would actually take it intact. So students can stay here locally and get a college education at a very reasonable price. Or we have options for classes if they want AP classes for advanced placement, and they want to go that route, and they want to go take it to a 4-year university. There's that option. I know both of my girls went to the university. I have one at University of Arkansas, in far north Texas, and I have one at Stephen F. Austin in Nacogdoches. Both of my, Stephen F. Austin? Both of my girls left high school with over 35 hours of college credit. And so their freshman year was finished before they left high school. And so in Red Oak ISD, and I know in Waxahachie ISD, there's plenty of options for that. But I think we have to be frank in our discussions in regard to the number of students that are actually going to college. And the number is not as high as we'd like it to be. But about 70% of your kids, many don't finish college if they choose to go. But that doesn't mean they can't be successful. Sometimes I think we've been caught in the stereotype that if you don't go to college, you can't be successful. I disagree. I think there's many options for success. You may have heard or read in the paper that we are currently starting a partnership with Texas State Technical College, and that is actually kicking off in January. We worked hard during the legislative session with Chairman Pitts and Senator Birdwell to help us work through with that legislation. And so now Ellis County students can enjoy options with Texas State Technical College. So our goal is this: once they get out of high school, they're either prepared to go into the workforce with some level of certification that puts them in a situation beyond minimum wage, something they can raise a family with, or two, go into technical or trade school with Texas State Technical College. They're actually going to be using one of our buildings in Red Oak that'll serve Red Oak ISD students as well as all the students in Ellis County for technical and trade, and they'll be actually building in North Ellis County. So that's another option, that they can get a certification beyond high school, or they can get an associate's degree. So there's many options now for students that are graduating, whether they choose to go directly to the workforce, whether they choose for certification beyond high school, or a four-year college degree. My goal, and this board's goal in Red Oak, is to make sure that kids have options. So they can get out, they can get a job, and raise a family. Now, here's the interesting thing that is beyond everything I've seen in public education and actually higher level education lately. Texas State Technical College has gone to a very interesting funding formula. They don't actually get paid from the state until the kid gets all the way through the program and gets out and gets a job. Their funding formula is based on how much the child or the student, an adult then, makes above minimum wage. So the better, they have partnerships tied directly into business so kids can get out and get a job. That's very important. And it's bold and impressive, I guess the best business model I've seen as to developing and how we should be paid. So I think it's very interesting, and I look forward to working with them because I know they're going to be a big benefit to our students. And they already have a great reputation. Pretty much talked about Texas State Technical College. They're opening they're actually using one of our buildings that'll start classes in January. They have a website that you can actually look up if you know someone that's interested in classes. It's not only for just high school, it's not only for high school students, it's also for students that may choose to be going back for some level of certification. Special Olympics. This past year, we had a wonderful woman that passed away, and it's been a member of our school district for a long time, and she was our Special Olympics sponsor. She didn't get paid for it, she just was very dedicated to the cause of the Special Olympics. And we decided in her honor to start a Special Olympics, actually have the Special Olympics Day in Red Oak. That's like many of the other meets in the county. I think Waxahachie has one also. And bring the athletes into our district and celebrate with them some of the exciting things and some of the competition with them. So it's been really fun. We enjoy it. We'll be having ours in March 25th of 2014. So if you're free that day, come out. We're always interested in the community coming out and participating in events. Navy ROTC. We started in 2009. And we have a 120 member unit. I think it's actually about 130 now. They come in and they teach our kids community service. They teach discipline. It's open to all Red Oak High School. They said a lot of community service, and they actually work to prepare kids to handle things with good character. They also do military drill. They teach marksmanship and many other things that go along with a Navy ROTC program. It's voluntary, but as you see, it continues to grow. They were named an outstanding unit in 2011, and they've maintained that status. Some points of pride. Red Oak ISD was named as the best community for music education by the National Association of Music Merchants. It's based on district and community support for fine arts. Red Oak offers band, jazz, choir, show, choir, and full-scale musicals. We had a National Merit semifinalist that's current, and 2 National Merit Scholar commended students. We have 1 National Hispanic Recognition and Scholar Program. We've also earned a superior first rating from the state for financial accountability this past year. So with that, I would like to turn it back over to David, and we're going to talk a little bit about our curriculum instruction. As it happens that many of us, or both of us in Red Oak ISD and Waxahachie, we do a lot of the same things. So we're going to work through this presentation together for the remainder of it. Okay.
Can we do that?
Sure.
We're going to go ahead and, Penny, if you will, is Penny back there in the back? If you want to come up and introduce our third guest. We're probably going to be running a little late tonight. This is a big program, and we're trying to cut the time as best we can. Here's Penny.
I want to introduce Dr. Carol Haynes. Dr. Carol Haynes is a curriculum specialist. She is a noted speaker, commentator, and author. She features on curriculum and public policy, including the left-wing indoctrination, Islamization, state and national budgets, international influences, illegal immigration, Common Core, and the future of American education. Dr. Haynes graduated with honors from the University of Memphis with a major in music. In addition to advanced studies with the Juilliard professor, she attended Rhodes College for advanced keyboard techniques. She received a doctorate in education, curriculum development, administration from the University of Memphis. Other doctoral level studies included American history. Dr. Haynes taught music and social studies in Tennessee public schools. She was a pioneer in the integration of the curriculum of social studies with language arts and served on various textbook selection committees. After completing her doctorate, she taught teacher education courses at the University of Memphis. She taught American history at the college level and served as chairman of the Social Sciences Division in Memphis Community College. In the corporate world, Dr. Haynes has served as CEO of Haynes Financial Services, a registered investment advisor. She has numerous awards in that field. Recently, she served as expert reviewer for the Texas State Board of Education Fine Arts Curriculum Review, and during that review, she illustrated extensively to teachers how the fine arts can be integrated with other subject areas.
Thank you so much for inviting me to come this evening. I really deeply appreciate it because we're going to be talking about a topic that's one of the most important issues facing Texas today and also facing Americans. And before I go forward, I want to digress and say to both of these gentlemen, I really agree with you about having education besides students going to college. And in fact, I wrote an article and some people weren't very happy about my writing the article. Is that better? Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
If you can't hear me from the back, please raise your hand. I am practically deaf because being a musician and practicing on Steinway concert grands in small rooms for so many years, my hearing was destroyed before I was 30 years old. So anyhow, I wrote an article in recent months. It's called the College Degree Scam. It was published by American Thinker. But if you go into my website, you can find it, and I certainly do agree that we need to prepare our young people for more than just one track in life. This is why they're coming out in debt. They come out and they have no skill levels, and then they're back home living with mom and dad, which is not where they hope to be. Oh, your parents, I see. Okay, for more than 2 centuries, Americans have lived a life of freedom that's the envy of the world. Millions have risked their lives to come to these shores to achieve the American dream. We've been cautious since our nation's founding about guarding our freedom. In fact, Andrew Jackson in 1837, in his farewell address, warned, "Remember, my fellow citizens, that eternal vigilance by the people is the price of liberty, and that you must pay the price if you wish to secure the blessing. It behooves you, therefore, to be watchful in your states as well as in the federal government." In more modern days, we know that General Douglas MacArthur has reminded us that no man is entitled to the blessings of freedom unless he be vigilant in its preservation. We have long ignored that warning, and today we are so close to losing our constitutional republic and to losing our unalienable rights. Until a few months ago, no one had ever heard of C-scope. Now it's on everyone's mouth and lips, and even on TV all over, people are hearing about C-scope in Texas. The bad thing is they see the lessons and they know that these have been charged as being anti-American and anti-Muslim. And across the nation, people are saying, but it couldn't happen in Texas. If it happens in Texas, where are we going from here? But you see, C-scope is really not the problem. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. C-scope is only a symptom of a much greater threat. A threat that poses great danger to our republic. The republic that was given to us by the blood of our founding fathers. So tonight we're going to unpack this thing, and we're going to talk about 4 areas. One is the historical background of C-scope and the role that politics plays in it. How is it that the problems that we have always get back to politicians? Have you noticed that? The second one is the reason why the public is in such a snit over C-scope, and believe me, they are. And you know, if you've seen all these women over in Austin, I know guys were there too, but there's a lot of women there. And then we're going to talk about the legal and financial irregularities of C-scope, and finally, whether schools can really survive without C-scope. So, let's start with the timeline. Do you have the timeline? Have they passed these out? You got them? Okay. Look at the timeline. That's the one, it's the lengthy one here, yeah. And I'm not going to just read this to you. Please just follow along with me, if you don't mind doing that. And we're going to see how did we ever manage to get onto this slippery slope. Well, going back to 1995, Bill Ratliff, who is then head of the Senate Education Committee, and today Dan Patrick holds that chair. Well, anyhow, Bill Ratliff spearheaded legislation that yanked the authority over content from the elected State Board of Education, the Texas State Board of Education. I'm going to be referring to that as the SBOE. From that point on, the SBOE could only approve what kind of content, or rather what content would go into our books. Today we call those instructional materials, because that encompasses a lot more than books. It's online things, it's handouts, it's all these workbooks and so forth. So we'll just call them instructional materials. But they could no longer look at the quality, meaning how something is presented. Now that's very important, so please keep that in mind, because that's gotten us in a lot of trouble. They also removed, and we're talking about our state legislature, they also removed authority from elected local boards over teachers, and this including the hiring and firing, and they also removed the authority of the local board over curriculum as well as discipline, and that has been given now to the superintendent, who is unelected. Now, people feel different ways about this. Bill Ratliff likes it to be that way, and then we have Dan Patrick, who likes it to be with the local board. That I'm not going to get into. That's not where we're going tonight. let's talk about what the panels could review prior to 1995. And just remember, they cannot do that today. So before 95, they could ask, does the textbook content represent positive aspects of U.S. heritage? Does it contain balanced factual treatment of political and social movements? Does the textbook promote respect for citizenship, patriotism, recognized authority, individual rights, the free enterprise system, and respect for the work ethic? In 2011, our state legislature made a really bum decision, another one, and they passed Senate Bill 6. And they have heard so much from so many of us that I think they're going to try to do something by 2015, because here's what happened. When they passed it, they said it allows school districts to use state funds to purchase instructional materials that have not been approved by the State Board of Education. That includes C-Scope, it includes iCloud, it includes all manner of instructional materials, and you've seen some things coming down the pipeline just recently from Louisville. And Louisville they had some instructional materials on the Second Amendment, how they reworded the Second Amendment, and I won't get into that, but I'm sure you've seen that running around. As it is also been running around other parts of the nation, but it's coming from those instructional materials that did not go through the approval. Now, let's note this, that Thomas Ratliff, who is son of Bill Ratliff from the vintage 1995, Tom Ratliff is also an SBOE member. He testified for Senate Bill 6. He also aggressively lobbied for it. Now, although it has been a Microsoft lobbyist since 1998, and if you go online, you can see where he admits he has been, because he has to file that with the Texas Ethics Commission report. He did not reveal that he was working as a lobbyist when he testified. So people, and I remember all this going on, I mean, everybody was screaming about it, but Bill Ratliff is not telling who he really is. So people just assumed that he was representing the State Board of Education. So although he's never seen a C-Scope lesson, he's publicly defending it. Perhaps it's because he and Microsoft are going to be making some money on this. Because every time C-Scope or others are using the platform by Microsoft, Thomas Ratliff is making money on that. So this year, our 83rd legislature tried to undo the messes they had already been making for the past several years, and they passed Senate Bill 1406. Now again, if you will just track along with me, there's some things you're going to see that I'm going to skip on here. This is so that when you go home, you can look at those things and see where they fit in, but I'm not going to be going through a lot of it tonight. Now, any instructional material that is developed by the Education Service Centers are subject to the review and approval by the SBOE. However, this only affects C-Scope. So any instructional materials that are developed outside of the ESC, the Educational Service Centers, don't have to go through this. They don't have to go through this SBOE approval, and they can get state funding thanks to Senate Bill 6. Now, this loophole was closed for future curriculum options by Senate Bill 1474. And I know sometimes our educators are saying, well, we have 1474 and they ignore the 1406. You can't ignore that. That's still a bill out there, and they're going to have to fall under it. Now, this Senate Bill 1474 requires that districts must gather input from you, the public, from their teachers, from the district employees, and they must have school board meetings that they're going to go into this and discuss it, so they're going to have public hearings, because we need to get around this where things are brought into the schools and nobody knows about it, least of all parents and grandparents, and it's your kids and it's your dollars. Although it should have been resolved this year, the C-Scope situation was not really resolved. But Dan Patrick, I was at a meeting the other night along with John Corona. They're tired of hearing me scream about this. But that's the last thing that Dan said in front of everybody, is that we are going to resolve this when we come back in 2015. Well, that's more than a year off, and maybe a year and a half by the time they get anything done. And he assures us, though, that they're going to do something about it, but especially about Senate Bill 6, which that's the problem, because because they're having it, the state is paying for these. Now, on the other hand, maybe we should just do what our founding fathers told us to do and what our Constitution intended, not to have so much at the state level. I'm thinking about all the bills that are being passed, and it's happening not only on the state level, but also on the federal level. Why don't we just go back maybe and let's push it back to a local level. Let's push it to the local. And how about some of what the State Board of Education has lost? And when you look on the handout that I gave you, there's a lot on there that's been taken away from them. And again, I'm not going over that tonight. But we think that you, the citizens, need to have some input on this. We don't need to have you hauled out and handcuffed because you don't agree with C-Scope or Common Core. After Senate Bill 1406 was passed, the State Board made up public review panels, and those review panels were going to be starting in June, and they were going to be going over social studies. Well, about the same time, the C-Scope board members said, well, we're going to take the lessons down off our website after August the 31st. So the SBOE says, okay, let's just do away with review panels. But then all of a sudden, things get turned upside down again, and they say, well, we really aren't going to dump these. C-Scope said they were going to dump the lessons, so why would you have review panels? However, today it is alive and thriving and well. And many schools districts are continuing to use it, even though Senate Bill 1406 says that it has to be approved by the State Board of Education. Right now, they are in the process of approving. If you will look down at the bottom on your sheet, they're in that process of going through, and they should be through with the social studies in November. Go onto the TEA website and you can see where it comes on there. But they still have English to go through and others. Anyhow, critics say that use of C-Scope is illegal because they've removed their materials and ordered all districts to cease any further usage. But here's an issue. C-Scope assessments, meaning tests, and C-Scope, a management tool, are still up and going. Now, you're going to see in a few minutes, those assessments or tests are also